In a world where notifications never stop buzzing and endless streams of information fight for your attention, it can feel like focus is a luxury rather than a skill. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The wisdom of the Stoics, rooted in discipline and clarity, offers a profound antidote to the chaos of modern life. Stoicism, a philosophy born over 2,000 years ago, remains remarkably relevant today, teaching us how to reclaim control over our thoughts and find calm amidst the noise. In this video, we'll explore 15 timeless Stoic strategies that will help you tune out distractions, strengthen your focus, and achieve a sense of inner peace. Each insight is practical, powerful, and designed to help you navigate the challenges of our ever-demanding world. Let's dive in. Do you ever feel like you're being pulled in 1,000 different directions? Emails piling up, messages lighting up your phone, deadlines looming, and everyone seems to want something from you right now. It's overwhelming, isn't it? And in moments like these, it's easy to lose sight of what actually matters. The Stoics understood this feeling all too well, even in their much simpler world. That's why one of the central tenets of Stoicism is the art of discernment, clarifying what truly deserves your attention and effort. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, put it simply: there are things which are within our power, and there are things which are beyond our power. This teaching forms the foundation of Stoicism. It's about learning to separate what is within your control from what isn't, and directing your energy only where it has the power to make a difference. Think about it. How often do we waste mental energy on things we can't influence? We replay conversations in our heads, worrying about how someone might react. We agonize over global events we have no ability to change. Or we scroll through social media, comparing ourselves to others, and feel inadequate in the process. These distractions fill our minds, leaving no space for what's actually important, the things we can control. To practice the art of discernment, start by identifying your sphere of control. According to Epictetus, this includes your actions, your thoughts, your choices, and your attitude. Notice how these are all internal. You can't control other people's opinions, the weather, or the unexpected challenges life throws at you. But you can control how you respond to them. Imagine a ship captain steering through a storm. They can't stop the waves or calm the wind, but they can adjust the sails, focus on the path ahead, and keep steering. That's what the Stoics mean by focusing on what's within your power. Here's a practical exercise to get started. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself 2 questions. First, is this something I can control? And second, does this truly matter? For example, if you're stressed because a colleague criticized your work, stop and reflect. Can you control their opinion? Not directly, but you can control how you react, choosing either to obsess over it or to calmly assess whether there's feedback you can use to improve. Similarly, if life throws a pile of tasks your way, ask, which of these actually moves me toward my goals? Focus on those. Let go of the rest. The beauty of this practice is that it clears away the mental clutter. By letting go of what's out of your hands, you free up mental energy to focus fully on what's in front of you. When you're no longer distracted by unnecessary worries, you'll find it easier to concentrate, make decisions, and take meaningful action. And here's the paradox: when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you often end up feeling more in control of your life. Accepting what's outside your influence doesn't mean giving up. It means channeling your energy where it truly matters on your own actions. Epictetus called this the key to freedom, because when you focus on what you can change, you stop being a prisoner of what you can't. So the next time you feel that familiar wave of overwhelm, take a deep breath and remember this simple Stoic truth: not everything deserves your attention. Ask yourself what truly matters, focus on what you can control, and let the rest go. You'll find that clarity is the first step to reclaiming your focus in a distracting world. Have you ever noticed how comfort, though pleasant, can sometimes make us complacent? When everything feels easy, we lose our edge. We get used to convenience, to instant gratification, and to always choosing the path of least resistance. But here's the thing: the more we avoid discomfort, the harder it becomes to deal with life's inevitable challenges. That's why the Stoics, and especially Seneca, believed in something that may sound counterintuitive: practicing voluntary discomfort. Seneca, the Roman philosopher and statesman, urged people to regularly expose themselves to small, intentional hardships. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" To Seneca, this was not about self-punishment or denying yourself joy. It was about building resilience and sharpening your focus. By choosing discomfort on your own terms, you not only strengthen your mental discipline, but also free yourself from the fear of losing your comforts. It's easy to see how this applies today. We live in a world built around convenience. We avoid hunger by snacking whenever we feel the slightest hint of it. One click gives us whatever we desire, from food delivery to endless entertainment. But this constant ease keeps us tethered to distractions and undermines our ability to stay focused when faced with difficulty. Practicing voluntary discomfort is one way to break this cycle and reclaim our inner strength. So, what does this look like in practice? It doesn't mean you need to turn your whole life upside down. Start small. For instance, instead of staying in your warm, cozy bed until the last second, get up early and take a cold shower. Yes, it'll be unpleasant at first, but that's the point. You're training your mind to embrace discomfort instead of avoiding it. Over time, this habit builds grit and makes it easier to stay focused on challenging tasks. Another example is fasting or eating a simpler meal on occasion. Seneca himself suggested this, reminding us that by experiencing less, we not only strengthen our self-control, but also become more grateful for the things we do have. Think of it as creating a mental buffer. When you're comfortable with discomfort, distractions like hunger pangs or minor inconveniences won't pull your focus away from your work or goals. Or try putting yourself in situations where you're forced to confront boredom. Maybe it's going for a walk without your phone or sitting in silence for a few minutes each day. In a world designed to constantly entertain you, choosing boredom can feel excruciating at first. But by resisting the urge to check your notifications or reach for something to fill the void, you train yourself to focus on what's in front of you. You're building the mental stamina to resist distractions in both big and small ways. Here's something worth reflecting on. What small discomforts could you introduce into your daily life? Things that challenge you but don't overwhelm you. Maybe it's walking instead of driving somewhere. Maybe it's committing to a task for a set amount of time without allowing yourself any distractions. The key is to find opportunities to step out of your comfort zone, even in small ways, so you can grow. When you embrace voluntary discomfort, you start to see challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. You gain confidence in your ability to endure life's curveballs because you've already proven to yourself that you can handle discomfort with grace. Most importantly, you become less dependent on external comforts and more focused on what truly matters to you. So, as you move through your day, remember Seneca's wisdom. Take a moment to invite discomfort into your life, not to punish yourself, but to prepare yourself. Over time, these small acts of discipline become the building blocks of resilience. helping you stay clear-headed, grounded, and focused no matter what life throws your way. Picture this: you're responding to an email while halfway through a meeting. Your phone buzzes with a new notification, and in the background, a YouTube video you started earlier is still playing. You tell yourself you're being productive, but in reality, your mind is scattered, and none of your attention is fully committed to any one task. Sound familiar? This is the modern struggle, a constant tug of war between the present moment and the distractions that pull us away from it. But as Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wisely observed, confine yourself to the present. This simple yet profound teaching reminds us of the power of mastering presence, of fully being here and now. The Stoics believed that the present is the only time we truly have control over. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but the present is where life happens. And yet, how often do we let the present slip through our fingers because we're too distracted or preoccupied with things that aren't happening right now? In Marcus Aurelius' time, distractions might have looked like political conflicts or the demands of ruling an empire. Today, they often take the form of digital distractions, endless notifications, social media scrolling, and the overwhelming temptation to multitask. But whether it's the 1st century or the 21st, the principle remains the same. When our attention is divided, we lose the richness of the moment we're in. We miss out on the opportunity to fully focus, to fully engage, and to experience the clarity that comes with being truly present. Mastering presence starts with mindfulness, a practice that aligns beautifully with Stoic principles. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting in silence or meditating. It's about bringing your awareness to the task at hand and letting go of the noise that tries to pull you away. For the Stoics, this meant taking life one moment at a time, directing their full attention to what was in front of them, no matter how small or routine it seemed. Marcus Aurelius often urged himself to stay present in his writings, reminding himself to focus on the task, the duty, or the action of the moment, without drifting into regret for the past or anxiety about the future. Let's consider how this applies to our lives today. Imagine you're working on an important project, but every time your phone pings, you glance over. Maybe you even pick it up just for a second to check the message. Before you know it, you've lost your train of thought and wasted precious time. Now, compare that to dedicating your full attention to the project, turning off notifications, putting your phone in another room, and immersing yourself in the work. Not only are you more productive, but you also feel a deeper sense of accomplishment because you fully engaged with the task. Mastering presence is also about resisting the urge to multitask. Research has shown that multitasking actually reduces efficiency and hinders focus. The Stoics understood this instinctively. You can only do one thing well if you are fully present with it. So, whether it's writing, holding a conversation, or even something as simple as washing the dishes, treat each action as if it matters. As Marcus Aurelius might put it, approach each moment with purpose and clarity, without letting your mind wander to what comes next. A practical way to practice this is through a mindfulness exercise the Stoics themselves might approve of: single tasking. Choose one task, just one. Set a timer for a specific amount of time, maybe 30 minutes, and commit to focusing only on that task. If your mind starts to drift, gently bring it back to the present. This is your moment, and your task is the only thing that deserves your attention right now. Over time, this habit of presence strengthens your ability to focus deeply, even in a world full of distractions. So, how often do you allow yourself to fully live in the present moment? How many moments each day slip by unnoticed because your mind is somewhere else? By mastering presence, you reclaim those moments. You train your mind to resist distractions, to focus on what's in front of you, and to find meaning and fulfillment in the here and now. Because as the Stoics remind us, life isn't happening in the past or the future. It's happening right here in this very moment. Imagine your mind as a garden. Whatever you allow into it, thoughts, ideas, images, becomes the seeds that shape your mental environment. Now ask yourself, are you carefully planting flowers or are you letting weeds grow uncontrollably? This is the essence of limiting inputs, a concept the Stoics deeply understood. To protect your mental clarity, you must act as a diligent gatekeeper, deciding what enters your mind and what gets filtered out. In the modern world, this has never been more important. We are constantly bombarded with stimuli, social media updates, news alerts, advertisements, and endless notifications pulling at our attention. Every swipe, every ping, every breaking news banner competes for space in your garden. And before you know it, your mental soil is cluttered with negativity, stress, and trivial distractions. Seneca warned of this exact danger. If you are everywhere, you are nowhere. A scattered mind, overwhelmed by excessive inputs, leaves little room for focus, purpose, or contemplation. The Stoics taught us to be intentional about what we consume. Just as you wouldn't feed your body junk food every single day, why would you feed your mind with meaningless or harmful content? Marcus Aurelius advised himself and us to avoid wasting energy on unworthy thoughts or unnecessary distractions. He wrote, "You need to avoid certain things in your train of thought, everything random, everything irrelevant, and certainly everything self-important or malicious." So how do you start guarding your mind in a world filled with constant noise? The first step is to reduce unnecessary inputs. Take social media, for example. It's easy to fall into the trap of endless scrolling, consuming a mix of curated highlight reels, divisive arguments, and clickbait content. While nothing is inherently wrong with staying connected or informed, the problem lies in the sheer volume and lack of intentionality. Every moment you spend scrolling dilutes your mental focus. You're not just consuming information, you're letting it shape your thoughts, emotions, and even your self-perception. To practice the Stoic principle of limiting inputs, consider curating and controlling your digital environment. Start by turning off non-essential notifications. Do you really need to know the second a new meme is posted or when someone likes your photo? Probably not. By reducing these interruptions, you'll notice an immediate improvement in your ability to focus and stay present. Next, take an audit of what you regularly consume. Ask yourself, does this serve me? Does it align with my values or help me grow? Unfollow accounts that bring negativity or comparison into your life. Opt for content that inspires, informs, or aligns with your goals. For instance, instead of letting your mind wander aimlessly through social media during breakfast, consider reading a few pages of a book, journaling, or even sitting in quiet reflection. These inputs nourish your mind instead of depleting it. Another powerful strategy is to set boundaries around when and how you consume information. The Stoics understood the value of stillness and contemplation, two things that are often lost in today's hyper-connected world. You don't need to check the news every hour. You don't need to respond to emails the moment they come in. Giving yourself scheduled blocks of time for focused work, intentional reading, or even a simple walk without your phone can help you reclaim your mental space. Think of this process as clearing the weeds from your garden. By limiting unnecessary inputs, you create room for the thoughts and ideas that truly matter. You'll find that your mind becomes calmer, sharper, and more focused. Distractions lose their grip, and you can direct your attention toward meaningful pursuits. The Stoics believed that a disciplined mind leads to a disciplined life. By guarding what you allow into your mental space, you're not just avoiding distractions, you're cultivating the clarity and presence that enable you to live with purpose. So take a moment to reflect. What inputs are shaping your thoughts today? Are they helping you grow or holding you back? The choice, as always, is yours. How many small decisions do you make each day? What to wear, what to eat, what to do first on your growing to-do list? It might seem harmless, but over time, these constant choices chip away at your mental energy. This is what psychologists call decision fatigue, the idea that the more decisions you make, the harder it becomes to make thoughtful, effective choices as the day goes on. Even the smallest decisions can drain your focus and leave you feeling scattered before you've even tackled what really matters. The Stoics, ever practical in their philosophy, recognized the burden of unnecessary mental clutter. Their answer: embrace routine and simplify your life. Habits and routines were central to the Stoic way of thinking because they eliminate unnecessary decision-making, free up mental energy, and create a foundation for systematic, intentional living. The more you automate the small things, the more space you create to focus on what truly moves the needle in your life. Marcus Aurelius, someone who faced countless decisions every day as a Roman emperor, often reminded himself to act methodically and intentionally, starting with the basics. He wrote, "If it is not right, don't do it. If it is not true, don't say it." Simple principles like these formed a kind of mental routine, a decision-making framework that prevented him from wasting energy on distractions or trivial matters. By adhering to a system, Marcus freed himself to focus on greater responsibilities. So how can we apply this idea and make routine work for us? Start by identifying repetitive tasks in your daily life and turn them into habits. For example, decide what time you'll wake up each morning and stick to it. Choose a specific, simple breakfast you'll eat every day to eliminate that particular morning decision altogether. Block off time for focused work and determine in advance what you'll work on during that time. The magic here is not just in streamlining your day, but in conserving your mental energy for the decisions that really require thoughtful attention. Take a cue from well-known figures like Steve Jobs or Barack Obama, who famously simplified their wardrobes to reduce decision fatigue. Jobs wore his signature black turtleneck and jeans almost every day, while Obama alternated between just a few suit colors. Why? Because by removing choices about what to wear, they could reserve their mental energy for big decisions that actually mattered. But routines aren't just about reducing decision fatigue, they're also about creating momentum. When you establish a predictable rhythm to your day, you minimize distractions and make it easier to maintain focus. For instance, if your routine includes a specific time for deep work, your mind begins to associate that time with productivity. Over time, the mental effort required to get in the zone decreases, leaving you free to channel your energy into the work itself. Another benefit of routines is their alignment with Stoic principles of intentional living. The Stoics valued systematic, purposeful actions. They believed every day should be lived in alignment with one's values and goals. Creating routines around what's important to you, for example, setting aside time for learning, exercising, or reflecting, ensures you live each day with intention rather than drifting aimlessly through distractions. Here's a practical way to start building a Stoic-inspired routine. Begin each morning with a grounding ritual. This could involve journaling about what you plan to accomplish that day, reflecting on your goals, or simply taking a moment to breathe and set your intentions. Morning routines like this establish clarity and focus right from the start, helping you approach the day with purpose. Then look at the decisions you make repeatedly throughout the day and ask yourself, can this be automated? Can it be turned into a habit? The more you reduce the burden of small, repetitive choices, the more bandwidth you'll have for critical thinking, creativity, and meaningful work. As the Stoics taught, a well-ordered life is a focused life. By embracing routine, you simplify your mental landscape, conserve your energy, and create the structure needed to thrive in a chaotic world. So, where in your day can you simplify? What routines can you create to free yourself from unnecessary distractions? Imagine the last time you felt completely overrun by thoughts. Maybe it was a day when deadlines, personal responsibilities, and digital distractions swirled endlessly in your head. You tried to focus, but your mind jumped from one thing to the next, unfinished conversations, lingering doubts and questions about what to prioritize. This chaotic mental noise doesn't just steal your focus, it blocks you from thinking deeply and intentionally. And in today's fast-paced world, where attention is pulled in countless directions, finding clarity can feel like an uphill battle. The Stoics, however, had a powerful antidote to this problem: journaling. For them, it wasn't just an occasional exercise, but a daily practice deeply rooted in self-reflection and mental discipline. The act of putting pen to paper allowed them to untangle their thoughts, clarify their values, and align their actions with their intentions. Marcus Aurelius, whose private writings became the timeless collection we now know as Meditations, used journaling as a tool to navigate his responsibilities as emperor, maintain his focus, and stay true to Stoic principles. You don't need to be a philosopher or ruler of an empire to benefit from this practice. Journaling is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to declutter your mind. When you write, you give yourself the space to step back from the chaos and see your thoughts objectively. Imagine your mind as a snow globe that's been shaken up. Journaling lets the flurry of thoughts settle so you can clearly see what's at the core. One way journaling helps is by distilling your priorities. Every day, dozens of things compete for your attention, but not all of them truly matter. By sitting down and writing out your thoughts, you're forced to confront what's actually important. Ask yourself questions like, what do I need to focus on today? Or, what distractions can I eliminate? This helps you stay aligned with your purpose rather than getting swept up in the noise of what feels urgent but isn't actually meaningful. The Stoics also used journaling to explore their emotions. Seneca, for example, would reflect on his own behavior at the end of each day, asking himself how he had lived and whether he had acted in line with his values. This practice wasn't about self-criticism, it was about learning and improving. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by frustration, anxiety, or distraction, writing about those feelings can help you process them. Instead of letting emotions control you, journaling allows you to analyze and understand them, creating space between stimulus and response. To start your own journaling practice, keep it simple. You don't need hours or a perfect writing style, just a few quiet moments to check in with yourself. In the morning, you might write down your intentions for the day. What do I want to accomplish? What attitude do I want to bring to my work and relationships? This sets a tone of focus and purpose. At the end of the day, reflect on how things went. Ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done differently? Did I stay true to what matters to me? Over time, this habit builds self-awareness and helps you course correct when you stray from your priorities. Journaling is also a great way to track progress. As you develop this practice, you'll look back on past entries and see how your thoughts, habits, and focus evolve. You might notice patterns in what distracts you or find that certain intentions lead to more productive, fulfilling days. This is where journaling becomes not just a tool for focus, but an ongoing guide for personal growth. In our hyper-connected world, where moments of stillness are rare, journaling gives you an invaluable opportunity to pause, reflect, and reset. It helps you slow the endless chatter of your mind and reconnect with what's truly important. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed or unsure where to focus, grab a notebook and start writing. You'll be surprised at how a few simple words on a page can cut through the noise, restore your clarity, and help you stay grounded in your intentions. What would you do differently if you only had a year to live? It's a question that stops you in your tracks, isn't it? Suddenly, all those minor annoyances, endless social media scrolls, and trivial distractions don't seem so important. Instead, your mind shifts to what truly matters, spending time with loved ones, pursuing meaningful goals, making an impact, and living in alignment with your deepest values. This is the power of Memento Mori, a central practice in Stoicism that translates to remember you must die. While that may sound morbid at first glance, the Stoics didn't reflect on mortality to dwell on death, but to embrace life with greater clarity and purpose. The Stoics believed that remembering our mortality is one of the most powerful tools we have to sharpen our focus on what truly matters. After all, life is finite, and the time we waste on distractions or meaningless pursuits is time we can never get back. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, put it plainly: you act like mortals in all that you fear and like immortals in all that you desire. In other words, we often live as if we have endless time ahead of us, postponing what's important while indulging in distractions or procrastination. But when we confront the reality of our limited time, we gain the clarity to prioritize what deserves our energy and attention. Let's reflect on this for a moment. How much of your day is spent on things that bring no real value to your life? The hours spent agonizing over someone else's opinion, the endless consumption of content that neither informs nor inspires you, the quick fixes that offer fleeting pleasure but leave you feeling empty. When you embrace Memento Mori, you stop allowing these distractions to dominate your life. Instead, you begin to focus on the actions, relationships, and goals that create lasting fulfillment. So how can you begin to incorporate the practice of Memento Mori into your daily life? Start by imagining this. If you knew today was your last day, how would you spend it? Would you spend your time arguing over trivial matters or obsessing over your emails? Likely not. You'd focus on the people you care about most, the passions that ignite your soul, and the contributions you want to make to the world. This mental exercise isn't about dwelling on fear, but about cutting through the noise and distractions, helping you live in a way that aligns with your values. One powerful way to integrate Memento Mori is to reflect on it each morning or evening. In the morning, you might ask yourself, if today were my last, what would I focus on? This question alone can set the tone for a day filled with purpose instead of distraction. At night, take a moment to reflect. If this day were all I had left, did I live it well? Did I focus on what truly matters to me? This daily practice, simple yet profound, creates a habit of mindfulness and intentional living. For the Stoics, reflecting on mortality wasn't just about personal development, it was also a reminder to appreciate the present moment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." It's not a call to panic or rush, but a gentle reminder that life is precious, and every moment is an opportunity to live fully and authentically. When you embrace this mindset, even mundane tasks take on greater meaning. You stop waiting for someday and start engaging fully with the life unfolding in front of you. Think of Memento Mori as a lens that helps you see what really matters. It strips away the unimportant and focuses your attention on the relationships, contributions, and pursuits that align with your deeper purpose. It's not about fearing death. It's about using the awareness of life's brevity to live with greater intensity and focus. So, what would you do differently today if you embodied this practice? What distractions would you let go of, and what meaningful actions would you choose instead? Imagine this: you've planned your day down to the minute. You're ready to tackle your most important project, fully prepared to dive deep into focused work. But then it happens. An urgent email derails your morning, unexpected tech issues eat up an hour, and by the time you sit down to focus, your phone buzzes with another unexpected task. Frustration builds. You think, why can't things just go as planned? It's moments like these that test our ability to stay calm and centered. And for the Stoics, it's moments like these that call for the practice of Amor Fati Amor Fati translates to love of fate. It's the Stoic principle of embracing whatever life throws at you, not just tolerating it or accepting it begrudgingly, but truly loving the inevitable twists and turns of life. Epictetus highlighted this when he said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." The Stoics believed that life is full of disruptions, setbacks, and challenges that we cannot control. And instead of resisting these events or wishing they were different, we can choose to work with reality, seeing every obstacle as an opportunity for growth. This perspective is especially valuable when it comes to maintaining focus. The modern world thrives on distractions. Unexpected disruptions are almost guaranteed. And while it's tempting to react with annoyance or try to fight against these moments, that attitude only drains your mental energy and scatters your attention even further. Instead, Amor Fati teaches us to look at these interruptions with a sense of acceptance, even gratitude. When you stop resisting what's outside your control, you free up your energy to respond thoughtfully and adapt gracefully. Let's take the earlier example of a perfectly planned day that gets derailed. A Stoic approach might look like this. Instead of ruminating on what's gone wrong, you pause and reflect. This is life unfolding as it's meant to. How can I use this moment? Maybe the unexpected email gives you a chance to hone your communication skills. Maybe the tech issue reminds you to practice patience. Or maybe the disruption itself shows you the value of remaining flexible in your plans. Each annoyance becomes an opportunity, a chance to respond with clarity, focus, and resilience. Here's a practical way to integrate Amor Fati into your everyday life. Whenever you face an unexpected challenge or distraction, pause and remind yourself, this is exactly where I'm meant to be right now. Then ask, how can I work with this instead of against it? This isn't about blind optimism or pretending every situation is ideal. It's about reframing the narrative, choosing to see disruptions as part of the process rather than something pulling you away from it. When you do this, you stay grounded in the present moment rather than wasting energy wishing things were different. Another powerful aspect of Amor Fati is its ability to shift your mindset over time. When you practice embracing challenges, you start to view them not as obstacles but as growth opportunities. If you're interrupted during a focused work session, instead of spiraling into frustration, you might see it as a chance to build your adaptability. If plans fall apart, you can accept the setback as part of the journey and adjust accordingly. This flexibility helps you maintain focus because you're no longer emotionally derailed by every unexpected twist. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This metaphor perfectly captures Amor Fati. Life will throw things your way, both good and bad. But with the right mindset, even disruptions fuel your ability to grow stronger, more focused, and more resilient. So, the next time distractions derail your plans, remember this Stoic principle. Don't resist reality or wish it were different. Instead, embrace it fully. Love your fate not because everything is perfect, but because every challenge is another step toward becoming the person you're meant to be. You sit down to work on an important project, ready to dive deep and make progress. The room is set, your coffee is poured, and you're finally in the zone. But just as you start to hit your stride, your phone rings. It's an unexpected call that pulls you away. Frustrated, you hang up and try to refocus, only to be interrupted again by a knock at the door or a sudden noise outside. Each distraction feels more aggravating than the last, and before you know it, your energy is drained and your focus is scattered. Sound familiar? That feeling of frustration, of being caught off guard by the unexpected, is something we've all experienced. But what if there was a way to prepare your mind for these moments before they even happen? This is where the Stoic practice of negative visualization comes in, a powerful mental exercise that can help you stay calm, focused, and resilient when life inevitably throws distractions or obstacles your way. The idea is simple. Instead of hoping everything goes perfectly, take a moment to imagine the challenges, setbacks, or interruptions you might encounter. By visualizing these potential hurdles in advance, you can mentally rehearse your response, making you less reactive and more composed when they actually occur. The Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca often reflected on the importance of anticipating difficulties. He famously wrote, "Rehearse them in your mind: exile, torture, war, shipwreck." All the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes. While Seneca's examples may feel dramatic, the principle remains the same in our modern world. By anticipating life's smaller but inevitable challenges, like a noisy neighbor, an urgent email, or unexpected technical glitches, you're better equipped to handle them without losing your focus or your cool. Think of negative visualization as a mental dress rehearsal. When you visualize distractions ahead of time, you're not hoping for them to occur, but you're preparing yourself so they won't derail you emotionally if they do. For example, before starting your workday, take a moment to reflect. What could go wrong today? What interruptions might pop up? Maybe a team member will need last-minute help, or you'll face an issue with your computer. Now, instead of dreading those possibilities, think about how you would calmly respond. By doing this, you essentially train your mind to remain steady and adaptable, ready for whatever comes your way. Let's look at how this might work in practice. Imagine you're preparing for a focused work session. Before diving in, you take a minute to picture things that could interrupt you. Your phone buzzing with notifications, a coworker dropping by unannounced, or even your own mind wandering. With these scenarios in mind, you decide how you'll address them in advance. You might silence your phone and place it out of reach. Let your coworkers know you're unavailable for the next hour, and set a timer to help keep your attention on track. This exercise doesn't just prepare you logistically, it prepares you mentally. If an interruption happens despite your efforts, you've already rehearsed staying calm and refocusing, so it feels less disruptive and less personal. Negative visualization also has the benefit of shifting your perspective. When you've already considered potential obstacles, you're less likely to be caught off guard or frustrated when they appear. Instead of thinking, "Why is this happening to me?" you approach the situation with a sense of calm acceptance. I expected this, let's handle it." This mindset doesn't make the interruptions any less real, but it drastically reduces the emotional toll they take, allowing you to get back to what matters with greater ease. This practice is especially helpful in a world that constantly pulls at your attention. Distractions are a given. It's how you prepare for them and respond to them that makes the difference. So, as you move through your day, take a page from the Stoics. Spend a moment imagining the potential disruptions that might arise, and visualize how you'll navigate them with poise and focus. When challenges come, as they always do, you'll find yourself better equipped to meet them, not with frustration, but with the calm confidence of someone who's already prepared. Have you ever poured your heart and soul into a project, only to find yourself obsessing over the outcome? Maybe it's a work presentation, a personal fitness goal, or even how well a dinner party you're hosting will go. You picture the praise you'll get if it goes perfectly, or on the flip side, the criticism if it doesn't. This focus on results can be exhausting, can't it? It adds unnecessary stress, distracts from the task itself, and can even paralyze you with fear of failure. The Stoics understood this all too well, which is why they taught one of their most timeless lessons: detach from outcomes and focus on the process. The Stoics believed that while we can control our actions, we cannot control external results. Epictetus put it succinctly: make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. In other words, when you focus only on the outcome, something inherently beyond your control, you set yourself up for frustration and disappointment. But when you shift your attention to the process, to the effort you put into what you can control, you free yourself from that unnecessary stress and regain your ability to stay present. Let's break this down with an example. Imagine you're training for a marathon. Your ultimate goal might be to finish in a certain time, but here's the thing: you can't control everything on race day. The weather might be unpredictable, you might not feel your best, or the competition might be tougher than expected. If all of your focus is on hitting that time, every mile becomes a judgment of whether you're succeeding or failing, and that pressure can drain your energy, sometimes before you even start the race. But when you focus on the process, your training, your hydration, each individual step, you stay present and engaged. You allow yourself to give your best effort regardless of the external circumstances. This mindset doesn't mean you stop caring about results. It means you approach them differently. Consider an artist creating a painting. If they obsess over how others will react or whether it will sell, that fixation can stifle their creativity. But if they immerse themselves in the act of painting, the brushstrokes, the mixing of colors, the joy of creation, they're more likely to produce something meaningful. Ironically, by letting go of the outcome, they may achieve a better result. So how can you apply this Stoic principle in your own life? Start by reflecting on an area where you feel stuck or stressed. Ask yourself, are you overly focused on the result? For example, instead of worrying about whether a project at work will earn you praise, shift your focus to the actions you can take to do your best work: preparing thoroughly, collaborating effectively, and putting in consistent effort. The same applies to personal goals. If you're trying to get healthier, focus on the daily habits, like eating nutritious meals and staying active, rather than obsessing over the number on the scale. These small, consistent actions are entirely within your control. Another powerful way to practice detaching from outcomes is to set process-based goals rather than results-based ones. For example, instead of aiming to get a promotion, aim to consistently improve your skills and contribute value to your team. Or instead of saying, I need to lose 20 pounds, focus on building routines like exercising 5 times a week. By honing in on what's within your power, you create progress without tying your happiness to unpredictable results. Ultimately, focusing on the process allows you to stay grounded, present, and engaged. It shifts your energy from worrying about what might happen to actually doing the work. And here's the beauty of this approach: the process is where fulfillment lies. It's in the learning, the growth, and the effort itself. So, the next time you catch yourself obsessing over an outcome, take a step back. Ask yourself, what part of this can I control, and how can I give my best effort to it? By embracing the process, you'll not only get more done, you'll find a deeper sense of purpose and peace in everything you pursue. Have you ever noticed how much of our distraction comes from chasing something we don't yet have? Maybe it's a promotion, a new gadget, more recognition, or even just more likes on social media. We convince ourselves that once we achieve it, once we check that box, we'll finally feel satisfied. But the truth is, when we're constantly looking ahead, craving the next thing, we lose sight of what's already right in front of us. This endless chase for external validation and material gain isn't just exhausting, it's one of the biggest barriers to focus and contentment. The Stoics saw this clearly and offered a powerful remedy: cultivate gratitude. Gratitude to the Stoics wasn't just a fleeting feeling or a polite thank you when things go your way. It was a deliberate practice, a mindset of appreciating what you already have rather than fixating on what you lack. Seneca wrote, He is a great man who has learned how to be content with what he has, whatever it may be. For the Stoics, gratitude was grounding. It kept them present, focused, and free from the endless distractions of envy, comparison, or dissatisfaction. Let's take a moment to explore how this works. When you're focused on what you lack, your mind becomes restless. You compare yourself to others and feel like you're falling behind. You start chasing fleeting goals, not because they're meaningful, but because you think they'll fill a void. This mental state scatters your attention. Instead of being fully engaged with your current tasks, relationships, or experiences, you're stuck thinking about what's missing. Gratitude, however, flips this script. By focusing on what you have, you anchor yourself in the present moment. This shift in perspective not only calms your mind, but also sharpens your ability to focus on what needs to be done right now. So how can you cultivate gratitude in your daily life? One simple yet powerful practice is to start or end your day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big. It could be the morning sunlight streaming through your window, the laughter you shared with a friend, or the satisfying cup of coffee that got you through a busy afternoon. By regularly reflecting on these small joys, you train your mind to notice and appreciate what's already good in your life, rather than constantly chasing more. The Stoics also encouraged us to reflect on the fragile, impermanent nature of life. Marcus Aurelius, for example, often reminded himself to cherish the people and moments in his life because nothing is guaranteed. This may sound heavy, but it's actually liberating. When you realize that everything you have is temporary, you stop taking it for granted. You focus your energy on fully experiencing and valuing the present instead of longing for what isn't there. Here's an example of how gratitude can transform your focus. Imagine you're working on a project, but your mind keeps wandering to what you don't have: more resources, more time, or someone else's skill set. Instead of spiraling into frustration, pause and shift your perspective. What are the tools you already have at your disposal? What strengths and experiences are you bringing to the table? What opportunities does this moment offer? By framing the situation through gratitude, you'll find it easier to concentrate on the task at hand and make meaningful progress. Gratitude also helps combat one of the most common modern distractions: comparison. With social media constantly showing us curated lives that seem more exciting, successful, or perfect than our own, it's easy to feel like we're not enough. But gratitude reminds us that our lives are full in their own unique ways. By appreciating what's ours, we stop chasing someone else's version of success and refocus on our own values and priorities. In the end, gratitude isn't just about feeling good. It's a tool for staying present and purposeful. It quiets the noise of wanting more, allowing you to give your full attention to the life you're already living. So take a moment today to reflect. What are you grateful for? What beauty, connection, or opportunity already exists in your life? By cultivating gratitude, you'll not only regain your focus, you'll uncover a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction in the process. Have you ever caught yourself in a spiral of negative self-talk? Perhaps you've been working on a project and thought, "I'll never get this right," or "Why can't I focus like everyone else?" Maybe you've hesitated to start something new because that inner voice whispered, "What if I fail?" These thoughts might seem small, even harmless in the moment, but they have an incredible ability to snowball, shaping how you feel, how you act, and ultimately what you achieve. Negative self-talk isn't just distracting. It can completely derail your productivity and sense of purpose. The Stoics understood this deeply, and one of their most powerful teachings was on controlling your internal dialogue. The Stoics believed that your mind is your most valuable tool, but also the greatest source of potential chaos if left unchecked. Epictetus captured this perfectly when he said, It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. He wasn't just talking about external events, he was also pointing to the inner reactions, the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening. For the Stoics, managing your internal dialogue was essential to fostering mental clarity, emotional resilience, and focus. They believed that with the right mindset, you could challenge and redirect unhelpful thoughts before they took root and pulled you off track. So, how does this work in practice? First, it starts with awareness. Negative self-talk often slips in unnoticed. Recognizing it is the first step. Let's say you're preparing for a presentation and you catch yourself thinking, "I'm going to mess this up," or "this isn't good enough." Instead of letting those thoughts take over, pause and ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it even true? When you challenge these narratives, you create space to redirect them into something more constructive. For example, instead of "I'm going to mess this up," you might reframe it as "I've prepared for this and I'll do my best." This process is often referred to as cognitive distancing, a concept that aligns closely with Stoic teachings. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations often reminded himself to separate facts from his emotions or assumptions. He practiced questioning the stories his mind created, seeing them for what they were, interpretations, not truth. When you learn to challenge your thoughts in this way, you stop being a passive observer of your inner dialogue and become an active participant, shaping it in a way that serves you. To strengthen this habit, try adopting a practice the Stoics might have endorsed. Keep an internal log of your thoughts throughout the day. Pay attention to patterns in your internal dialogue. Are there recurring doubts or fears that show up? Once you've identified them, challenge them. Replace phrases like "I can't" with "what if I could?" Or "this is impossible" with "what's the first step I can take?" Over time, this simple practice can transform the way you relate to your thoughts, giving you more control over your focus and mental energy. Another powerful way to manage your internal dialogue is through visualization. The Stoics often imagined themselves as an impartial observer, viewing their own thoughts from a distance, almost as if they were watching someone else. When you detach from your inner monologue in this way, it's easier to spot unhelpful patterns and interrupt them. For instance, if you're feeling overwhelmed by a long to-do list and your mind starts saying, "I'll never get this done," visualize stepping outside of that thought. See it objectively. It's just a collection of words, not a reflection of reality. This perspective shift can help you refocus and approach the situation more calmly. Managing your internal dialogue isn't about suppressing negative thoughts or pretending everything is perfect. Far from it. The Stoics knew that challenges and doubts are part of being human. But they also knew that how we engage with those thoughts determines whether they control us or whether we rise above them. By cultivating mental discipline, questioning unhelpful narratives, and replacing them with empowering alternatives, you take charge of your mind rather than letting it wander unchecked. So, the next time you notice negative self-talk creeping in, pause, challenge it, and decide what story you want to tell yourself instead. After all, your inner dialogue is not just a reflection of your mindset, it's the foundation of how you show up in the world. Have you ever had one of those days where it feels like everything is demanding your attention at once? Your inbox is overflowing, a coworker needs help, your phone keeps buzzing with notifications, and somewhere in the chaos, the tasks that actually matter, your real priorities, start slipping through the cracks. It's exhausting, isn't it? And yet, this feeling of being pulled in 100 different directions is all too common in our distraction-filled world. Often, the root of this chaos isn't the volume of tasks themselves, but a lack of clarity about what truly deserves our time and energy. The Stoics believed that the key to cutting through this mental clutter is having a clear sense of purpose. Purpose, to the Stoics, wasn't just a lofty ideal or vague aspiration. It was the compass that guided their decisions, actions, and even their thoughts. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations asked himself, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I am rising to do the work of a human being." For Marcus, purpose wasn't just about fulfilling his duties as emperor. It was about living in alignment with his principles, focusing on what he deemed meaningful and essential. This clarity gave him direction and helped him avoid being consumed by trivialities or distractions. The truth is, when you don't define your purpose, everything around you feels urgent. Every email, every notification, every minor request competes for your attention. And without a framework to decide what truly matters, it's easy to get lost. Purpose is what helps you sort through the noise. It's what allows you to look at your overflowing to-do list and say, "This task moves me closer to my goals, that one doesn't." It's not about doing more, it's about doing the right things. Let's take an example. Imagine someone who's juggling multiple responsibilities at work while also trying to maintain a healthy personal life. Without a clear sense of purpose, this person might spend their day reacting to whatever feels most pressing in the moment, jumping from task to task, overcommitting to meetings, and saying yes to every request that comes their way. By the end of the day, they may have been busy, but they haven't made significant progress on the things that truly matter to them. Now, compare that to someone with a defined purpose. Perhaps it's to grow as a leader, to create meaningful work, or to nurture their family. This person approaches their day differently. They prioritize tasks that align with that purpose, letting non-essential distractions fall away. Their clarity becomes their focus. But how do you define purpose as the Stoics did? Start by asking yourself, what do I value most? What kind of person do I want to be? What do I want my actions to contribute to my work, my relationships, and even the world around me? Your purpose doesn't need to be grand or complicated, but it should reflect what you find meaningful. For Epictetus, purpose often boiled down to aligning his actions with virtue, living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. For you, it might mean dedicating yourself to a creative pursuit, serving others, or simply being fully present for the people you care about. Once you've defined your purpose, use it as a filter for your decisions. Each time you're faced with a new task, commitment, or opportunity, ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? Does it bring me closer to what I want to achieve? If the answer is no, consider letting it go. This simple practice allows you to redirect your energy to what truly matters, rather than spreading yourself thin trying to do it all. The beauty of living with purpose is that it doesn't just eliminate distractions, it sharpens your focus and gives your life a deeper sense of direction. You stop feeling like you're being pulled in different directions because your priorities are crystal clear. And as the Stoics remind us, clarity of purpose isn't just a productivity tool. It's a way of living intentionally, with meaning and virtue at the core of everything you do. So take a moment to reflect. What is guiding your decisions today? Are your actions aligned with your deeper purpose, or are they being dictated by distractions? Define what truly matters to you and let that be your guide. Have you ever made a decision in the heat of the moment that you later regretted? Maybe it was sending an angry email, snapping at a loved one, or even saying yes to something in a burst of excitement, only to realize later it wasn't the right choice. Strong emotions, whether it's anger, fear, or even enthusiasm, can be incredibly powerful. They have the ability to hijack our thinking, cloud our judgment, and pull us off course, often without us even realizing it. The Stoics understood this deeply and emphasized the importance of guarding against passions, the intense, unchecked emotions that disrupt our inner peace and focus. For the Stoics, emotions themselves weren't the enemy. After all, feelings like sadness or joy are part of being human. What the Stoics sought to avoid were passions, those extreme emotional states that take control of our actions and steer us away from reason. Anger, for instance, might cause someone to lash out without thinking. Overexcitement might lead to impulsive decisions that aren't well thought out. Fear can paralyze us, and anxiety distracts us from the task at hand. In all these cases, the effect is the same. We lose clarity, and with it, our ability to focus on what truly matters. Think about how this plays out in everyday life. Imagine you're working on a major project when you receive a frustrating email. Your first impulse might be to fire off a sharp response. But in doing so, you allow the anger to take control, distracting you from your work and potentially creating even more problems to deal with later. Or consider the reverse: an exciting new opportunity lands in your lap, and in your enthusiasm, you immediately say yes without considering whether it aligns with your long-term goals. These emotional reactions can undermine your focus, pulling you away from the steadiness and clarity needed to make thoughtful decisions. The Stoics believed that cultivating equanimity, a calm and balanced mind, was the key to navigating emotions effectively. Equanimity isn't about suppressing or ignoring your feelings. Instead, it's about observing and understanding them without letting them control you. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This strength comes from learning to pause, reflect, and choose your response rather than reacting impulsively. So, how can we practice emotional regulation as the Stoics did? Start by introducing a moment of pause whenever you feel a strong emotion arise. If you're angry, for example, take a few deep breaths before responding. This simple act of slowing down creates space between the emotion and your reaction, giving you the clarity to consider whether your response will help or hurt the situation. Similarly, if you feel a surge of excitement about an opportunity, resist the urge to act immediately. Take time to evaluate it against your values and priorities. Does it support your purpose, or is it a distraction in disguise? Another powerful Stoic technique is reframing. The Stoics often advised looking at situations from a broader perspective to gain emotional distance. For instance, if someone's words anger you, you might reflect on this. Is this truly worth my energy? Will it matter a week or a month from now? By reframing the situation, you shift from being emotionally reactive to being thoughtful and measured. Equanimity also comes from recognizing what's within your control. The Stoics believed that much of our emotional turmoil comes from trying to control external events, other people's opinions, unpredictable outcomes, or unforeseen challenges. When you focus instead on your own actions and perspective, you reclaim your sense of agency. For example, if a setback at work leaves you feeling frustrated, ask yourself, what can I do to move forward? This approach not only reduces emotional overwhelm, but also keeps your attention on solutions rather than problems. Ultimately, guarding against passions is about grounding yourself in your own reason and values. When you cultivate emotional steadiness, you're less likely to be swept away by the highs and lows of daily life. You can remain focused even in the face of challenges and make decisions from a place of clarity rather than impulsivity. So, the next time strong emotions arise, take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose your response wisely. That calm, centered state of mind is precisely what allows you to maintain focus and stay true to your purpose, no matter what life throws your way. Have you ever noticed how the people you spend time with or the environment you surround yourself with can either sharpen your focus or completely throw it off track? Maybe it's the friend who encourages you to push through challenges, or the coworker who pulls you into endless distractions. Or perhaps it's the physical clutter in your workspace that adds to your mental clutter. The truth is, much of our ability to stay disciplined and focused isn't just about internal willpower, it's also about the external influences we allow into our lives. The Stoics were acutely aware of this, They believe that your environment, both the people you associate with and the circumstances you create, has a profound impact on your thoughts, behaviors, and ability to stay grounded in your purpose. Seneca, for instance, advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. For the Stoics, surrounding yourself with virtuous people and uplifting influences wasn't just a preference, it was a necessity for maintaining discipline, focus, and clarity of thought. Let's reflect on how this applies to our lives today. Our modern world is filled with distractions, not just in the form of technology, but also in the relationships and social dynamics we engage with. Spending time with people who thrive on negativity, gossip, or procrastination can subtly pull you into those habits. On the other hand, aligning yourself with individuals who value growth, focus, and integrity can inspire you to embody those traits yourself. The Stoics understood that humans are inherently influenced by those around them, which is why they emphasize choosing your circle wisely. Think about this from a practical standpoint. You've likely experienced those moments when a friend or colleague's energy either lifted you up or drained you. Perhaps you've been part of a conversation that left you feeling motivated to tackle your goals, or conversely, one that left you distracted, frustrated, or doubting yourself. This is why being intentional about the company you keep is so important. If your goal is to strengthen your focus and live with purpose, seek out relationships that align with those aspirations. This doesn't mean you should avoid people who are struggling or imperfect. We're all human, after all. But the Stoics would encourage you to be mindful of whether a relationship lifts you up or consistently pulls you away from your values. For example, if you have a friend who always complains and avoids taking responsibility for their actions, their mindset can subtly influence your own. Conversely, a friend who demonstrates resilience and discipline in the face of challenges can inspire you to do the same. The same principle applies to the media and content you consume. Following accounts or channels that promote mindless entertainment or constant comparison might feel harmless at first, but over time they can clutter your mind with distractions. Instead, consider curating an environment that supports your focus, whether it's subscribing to podcasts that inspire personal growth, reading books from virtuous thinkers, or even simplifying your workspace to minimize distractions. A modern way to think about this Stoic teaching is to apply the concept of proximity effect. Science shows that we tend to adopt the habits, attitudes, and behaviors of the people and influences closest to us. If you surround yourself with those who are disciplined, focused, and committed to their growth, you'll naturally begin to embody those qualities as well. This doesn't just happen through direct interaction, but also through observation and subtle influence. So, how do you begin surrounding yourself with virtue in a world that often pulls you in the opposite direction? Start by reflecting on your current environment. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do their values reflect the kind of person you want to become? Beyond people, take stock of the media you consume and your physical environment. Are they supporting your focus, or are they contributing to distraction? The Stoics believed that just as a river shapes the land around it, our environment shapes who we are. By choosing virtuous company and cultivating an uplifting environment, you take an active role in aligning your life with your highest values. This isn't just about cutting out negativity, it's about intentionally building a foundation of support and inspiration, one that helps you stay focused, disciplined, and centered on what truly matters. So take a moment to ask yourself, are your influences helping you grow, or are they holding you back? The answer might just be the key to unlocking your clarity and purpose. So there you have it, 15 Stoic strategies that offer us timeless wisdom to stay focused in a world bursting with distractions. At their core, these strategies aren't just about productivity or efficiency. They're about something much deeper, gaining clarity in our lives, cultivating self-discipline, and living with intention. Whether it's practicing gratitude, mastering presence, embracing discomfort, or aligning your actions with a clear purpose, each of these principles is a compass that can guide us toward a life of greater meaning and focus. The Stoics understood that distractions, both external and internal, are inevitable, but they also knew that how we respond to them is fully within our control. By taking small, intentional steps to strengthen our focus, we not only become more productive but also more resilient, present, and fulfilled. These strategies ask us to reflect on what truly matters and to let go of what doesn't. They show us how to reclaim our time, energy, and attention in a culture that seems determined to scatter them. If there's one underlying message from these timeless teachings, it's this: the ability to focus isn't something you're born with, it's something you practice. And Stoicism gives us the tools to practice it well. It challenges us to be deliberate with our days, to align our actions with our values, and to approach each moment, no matter how chaotic, with a calm and grounded mind. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius: "What stands in the way becomes the way." Challenges, distractions, and setbacks aren't barriers to overcome. They are opportunities to practice resilience, discipline, and clarity. They remind us to return to the present, to focus on what is within our power, and to let go of what is not. Each time you choose to rise above distractions and act with intention, you build the mental and emotional strength to navigate whatever life throws your way. So, out of these 15 strategies, which one speaks to you the most? Maybe it's limiting unnecessary inputs to create more mental space, or journaling to gain clarity on your thoughts. Perhaps it's practicing Amor, Fati, learning to embrace life as it is, with all its messiness, or setting clear routines to combat decision fatigue. Whatever it is, I invite you to reflect on which strategy you'd like to try first and take one small step today to incorporate it into your life. And don't forget, Stoicism is meant to be practiced, not perfected. Start where you are. Pick one principle or exercise and allow it to be a daily reminder to live with intention. Over time, these small, consistent habits will add up, creating a life that is more focused, meaningful, and aligned with your values. If you found value in this video, let us know in the comments which strategy resonates with you the most and how you plan to apply it. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing to join us as we explore more practical philosophy to live a purposeful life. Thank you for watching, and remember, focus isn't just a skill, it's a way of life. So, what will you focus on